Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a rather quick fun video for you guys, all on the most fascinating facts, titillating tidbits, and tremendous trivia regarding one of Pokemon's most iconic in its cast of original 150. Today we'll be counting down the top fast facts on the drill species of Pokemon, Rhyhorn, Rhydon, and Rhyperior. Many of you may know this already, it's kind of one of the great big fun facts for Pokemon, that being Rhydon was actually the first Pokemon, like ever. The idea of Rhydon being the first ever Pokemon came about when people realized that its index number in red, blue, and yellow was 001. Kinda odd for the 122nd Pokemon in the Pokedex, right? It suggested super early development as a Pokemon, and luckily, confirmation surfaced later on through interviews with developers that yes, actually Rhydon was their first concept for a pocket monster. This was later backed up by some of the first concept sketches for Pokemon, featuring, you guessed it, Rhydon. The show, manga, and games all have glaring differences, at times even completely contradicting one another. I'd say it's one of the charms of this beloved franchise. But as a child growing up with Pokemon and taking it much more seriously than I had any right to, some differences really messed with my head. One of the most head-scratching came from the episode Riddle Me This, Ash's gym battle with Blaine on Cinnabar Island. Blaine was using Rhydon and Ash was of course using Pikachu. Despite being type ground, Ash's Pikachu uses an electric type move, targets Rhydon's horn and KOs it. Wait, what? Yeah, it still doesn't make sense as an adult. There's just no way its horn could be used as a lightning rod to down Rhydon with an electric type move. This was made even less plausible as Rhydon would gain the ability Lightning Rod, which, remember, allows you to take damage from electric moves. Oh, no, wait, that's completely dumb. It attracts lightning, but that's because Rhydon cannot take damage from them. This was a nice little nod to this classic episode, but still, the whole thing is a little ridiculous. Another anime tidbit concerning this Pokemon came from episode 32, a personal favorite of mine, the Flame Pokemonathon. Here, there's a Pokemon race about to take place, and all varieties of Pokemon are allowed to participate with their trainers. Of course, one brilliant lad chooses his Rhyhorn, because we all know just how fast Rhyhorn is, right? He'll do fine. You may think I'm being sarcastic, but really, in the show, this Rhyhorn in a race performed pretty admirably, only being forced to stop because of a river crossing section and, you know, of it being a giant rock rhinoceros. So what's so funny about this episode? Well, Rhyhorn did well in the race, big whoop, right? Well, let me ask you, have you ever seen this Pokemon's speed stat? No joke, it is in fact one of the slowest in Generation 1. Specifically, Rhyhorn is the 6th slowest Pokemon in Red, Blue, and Yellow. Slower than Metapod and much slower than Kakuna. Think about it, stat-wise, throwing a Kakuna into this race should have been a better pick than Rhyhorn. Again, it's just a fun little discrepancy between the show and the games, which we didn't really notice when we were younger, but is still really funny to see now. Getting Rhyperior in the game requires giving Rhydon a specific item and then trading that Pokemon to another player. They will then either enjoy their new evolution or trade it back to you. It's a true test of friendship. The item in question is called Protector, and it does basically nothing except evolve Rhydon. The idea here is that this Protector is loved by Rhydon because it enhances the stone that makes up its scaly hide. Through the act of trading, the item becomes ingrained into the Pokemon itself, and its hide thickens even further, evolving it into Rhyperior. This item's not easy to come by, and while you can purchase it in some shops in Black and White 2, you can only really find this item on either Route 228 in Diamond and Pearl, Mount Mortar in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Route 11 in Black and White, the Lost Hotel in X and Y, and finally, Paniola Town in Sun and Moon. In all of Rhyperior's Pokedex entries throughout the games featuring this Pokemon, they all seem to mention one biological aspect in particular, They reference that Rhyperiors can shove rocks and stones into holes located in their hands, bend their bodies to build up pressure, and launch or throw them with incredible speed and accuracy. Most of these entries also include the fact that Geodudes are sometimes used instead of ordinary rocks. But, I mean, an honest mistake, right? These entries are a little funny because while it sounds a whole lot like Rhyperior is throwing rocks, it actually never learns the move Rock Throw. Just grab another Geodude and chuck it in frustration. Somewhat iconic and a meme at this point among Pokemon fans was the long lost idea of a pink Rhyhorn. This appeared in the anime in the episode In the Pink, in which Ash was traveling the Orange Islands and landed on the aptly named Pinkin Island. Here grew a special fruit which all the wild Pokemon ate, the Pinkenberry, which turned the Pokemon pink, including good old Rhyhorn. While a lot of Pokemon who ate the berries were affected, Rhyhorn stood out because of its shiny variant, which many people perceived to be a pinkish hue in-game. The theory arose that this was actually a wild shiny Rhyhorn. While it's fun to think about, that's probably not the case, since everything eating those berries turned pink, and the in-game shiny sprite for Rhyhorn is more of a flesh color than pink, although I can see the argument for pinkiness. And finally, back in the early years of Pokemon, there just wasn't as much emphasis on uniqueness like we see in later games. That's why Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Rhyperior, Nidoqueen, and Nidoking all share the same species name, the Drill Pokemon. Even though Nidoqueen and King don't have drills, but just actual horns, but I digress. This is also why, for years, Rhyhorn shared an almost identical cry with another iconic Pokemon, Charizard. Yeah, almost no difference whatsoever. This stayed the same all the way up to Pokemon X and Y when they finally split the two similarly sounding Pokemon. Ah, much better. And there you have it, everyone, some amazing little facts you may or may not have known about everyone's favorite drill Pokemon. Sorry, Nidoqueen and Nidoking. Remember, if you want a more in-depth look at this Pokemon, make sure you watch my analysis on Rhydon and Rhyperior here on the channel, linked in the description below, or clickable on your screen right now. Regardless, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, share, and of course, subscribe for more great videos in the future. And as always, we'll see you next time.